RX350, courtesy of Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so today we're in the brand new 2025 RX because this is the third year into the 6th generation RX, and this is actually the #1 seller in the luxury mid-size SUV category. And there is a new trim level for the 2025 model year as well. And we happen to have it with us here today, so that's super exciting. So ultimately in this video, we'll be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so, as you can imagine, there are several different trim levels for the 2025 RX350. First one being the base, starting at $50,325, premium for $52,575, premium plus for $56,065, luxury for $61,120, F Sport Design, which is the new trim level for this year, and that is the one that we have with us here today. That one starts at $54,905, and lastly, the F Sport Handling all-wheel drive, starting at $59,175. And so, believe it or not, all of those other trim levels but that last one comes standard with front wheel drive. If you wanted to add all-wheel drive, you can do that. Simply add $1,600 then to any of those prices. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, the power plant on the RX350 is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, putting out 275 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 317 pound-feet of torque coming in at 1,700 RPM. That power being sent to front wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which you guys know, of course, we will be testing out here in a little bit. 0 to 60 time for the RX350 coming in at approximately 7.6 seconds for the front wheel drive, 7.2 seconds then for the all-wheel drive. MPG numbers coming in at 22 city, 29 on the highway for the front wheel drive, 21 in the city, 28 on the highway for the all-wheel drive, taking premium unleaded fuel. So before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in the RX350, did want to mention to you guys the drive modes, which can be accessed through the infotainment screen, which we will be going over a little bit later in the video. But drive modes will include normal, eco, sport, and custom, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. So now that we got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the paddle shifters here to the test first. And by the way, there is a full manual shift mode. You just simply slide the shifter all the way to the back, directly to the back. It's going to tell you what gear you were in up on the digital gauges here. So that is pretty cool. I got it in that full manual shift mode. Let's go ahead and put it in sport driving mode, and let's see how quickly these paddle shifters are going to react for us here. All right, we are in first gear. Let's see if it holds. Hey, it's holding. That's pretty sweet. This is the full manual shift mode. Cool. Let's go. Ah, there's a delay. There is a delay, as expected with an SUV. So I didn't expect them to be anything crazy. But the cool thing is that they are there because you don't have to actually use them to have fun with. You can actually use them to do a little bit of engine braking if it were to be snowing out here in Pennsylvania, like it quite often does. So rather than hitting the brakes or risk sliding off the road, maybe going down a hill, you could just hit the paddle shifters, do a little bit of engine braking, so you're less likely to actually slide off the road. So they're there for that reason. But yeah, there is a little bit of a delay. I probably wouldn't use them myself in just regular driving. But anyways, just gave back full control to the RX here. I slid the shifter all the way to the back and to the left. That gives back full control to this thing. And let's go ahead and find one more straightaway, and let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, so this is the perfect spot. This is the merging area. Let's go. Nice. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You're definitely not going to have any issues emerging onto the highway. There's plenty of get up and go to merge you onto really any highway in PA, so I don't have any issues there. But now, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.4-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13.4-inch solid rear discs. But I did want to mention, on top of that, if you were to go with the F Sport Handling, it's not just a handling package. You actually also get 6 piston front calipers, so it's kind of a braking package as well. And as far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it comes in at a respectable 123 feet. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. As far as braking feel goes, I love it. It's on the firm side of things. I didn't expect that. Typically with SUVs, you get kind of a soft braking feel. There's no emotion to it, but yeah, it's a really nice braking feel here in the RX. It's a firm braking feel, so it's on the sportier side of things. I like it. But anyways, then touching on suspension and handling, up front, you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. But the F Sport Handling takes that up to the next level, because F Sport Handling trim also gives you F Sport tuned performance dampers, and my very favorite, an adaptive variable suspension as well. So what that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also tightens up that suspension during heavy cornering, really giving you the best of both worlds, a better handling as well, hence the name. But anyways, you really notice it in the ride quality, quite honestly. Whenever I test out an adaptive variable suspension, it's the smooth ride that really gets me. It's a night and day difference compared to if you have one versus you don't have one. So it really is the best of both worlds with that. But anyways, as far as ride quality goes in our F Sport design, since we don't have that adaptive variable suspension, it's honestly been perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today. Of course, it would be smoother if we had the F Sport handling, but it's perfectly fine for me. I don't have any issues there. As far as cabin noise goes, we're going 37 miles per hour right now. It's actually a very serene cabin, so there's definitely some kind of sound absorbing glass going on with the RX350, because this is a very luxury-like serene cabin, so I don't have any issues there. As far as steering feel goes, I still have it in that sport driving mode. It's a nice weight to it, definitely on the heavier side of things, but for an experiment here, let me go ahead and put it in eco driving mode just for fun. It does definitely loosen up the steering feel, so I personally prefer that sport driving mode. I'm going to put it back in there, but it's something for everybody, so I'll just put it that way, and that's what you want. You want something for everybody so everyone's happy. Touching on visibility, taking a look out of my rear view mirror there, I can see perfectly fine out the back, so rear visibility is perfectly fine. But touching on forward visibility, you actually do get rain sensing windshield wipers for every single trim level across the board, so whenever the RX detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you, kind of like automatic headlights, so you gotta love that. And if you were to go with the luxury or the F Sport handling, you also get a head-up display that's going to project your speed limit, and safety features up onto your windshield. So that, again, is going to help assist with forward visibility. So you got to love that too. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Lexus RX350. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Lexus RX350, finished in Grecian blue, in case you were curious of the exact exterior color name that we had with us here on this one. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where the RX is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the number 2, indicating that the new RX350 is built and assembled in Canada, But starting up front, I love the overhang over the Lexus logo in the front here. I think I said that in last year's review as well. It's one of those design elements that you don't see too often. I think it just looks good, but little thing, not a big deal, I guess. But to the sides, LED headlights do come standard on all trim levels across the board. You do get LED daytime running lights with those. You get the automatic feature. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses the vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So very convenient. To the bottom corners there, you got LED fog lights. They actually do come standard on all trim levels across the board. You also have front air curtains helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination for a little better aerodynamics there. And again, since we have the F Sport design, this one's going to have a little different look than some of the other trim levels. Of course, the F Sport design and the F Sport handling are going to look alike, but they are going to differ from all the other trim levels. You're going to get some more silver accents for the other trims, whereas you're going to get a lot more gloss black accents for the F Sport design, just to name one thing there for an example. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the front end. I love the look of the front end on the RX, but now let's go ahead and make our way to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the RX350, all the way to the top, you will find roof rails for the premium trim level and up. They're either going to be silver or gloss black. Of course, gloss black for the F Sport trim levels, but rear privacy glass does come standard across the board. You got chrome window surrounds coming standard as well. Got the floating roof line on the C-pillar in the back there, differentiating the roof from the rest of the body, of course. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals. They're also, actually, you get the auto tilt down feature for all trim levels across the board. That's definitely something that doesn't always come standard, even on luxury vehicles. Also, a driver's side auto dimming mirror, another one of those features that doesn't always come standard, so that is pretty cool as well. But then take a look down at the wheel setup. 19-inch 5-spoke alloys for the base and premium, and then 21-inch alloys for the premium plus trim level and up. And they, of course, will vary in design. We got kind of this graphite look to the F Sport design that we have with us here today. Love the F Sport logo found in the front fenders. That's a nice little design element as well. The only thing I think I would change on the side profile of the RX is I love the body colored elements around the fenders. However, the side skirts, I wish they were body colored as well. So maybe just for the F Sport design and handling, just the upper trim levels, but I think that would be a much cooler look rather than the matte black side skirts. But that's just my opinion. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. And so, but now since we are around to the back of this one, all the way to the top, body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. If you're wondering where the rear window wiper is, because it is not affixed to the rear glass, you will simply have to look up underneath of that rear spoiler. I don't know if you're going to to be able to see it, but take my word for it, it's under there kind of like a Chevy Tahoe or a Chevy Suburban would do, but definitely is going to help out with rear visibility since there's not an actual wiper found in the rear window there. LED taillights do come standard across the board as well. That's definitely a nice design element. If you get up a little closer, you're going to see all the detail that they put into those taillights. It's kind of like a Pikachu tail style taillight. I don't know, it looks like that to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, just below it all, you will get dual exhaust outlets. They are tucked away, of course, but having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the RX, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it actually is a power tailgate for all trim levels across the board, so you gotta love that. And then if you wanted a hands-free power tailgate, it's gonna be an optional feature on the premium trim level and up. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 29.6 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 40-20-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 46.2 cubic feet. But there is actually a ton going on for that cargo area. There's a power folding second row to start, LED cargo lighting coming standard, there's chrome plated tie-down anchors, there's actually grocery bag hooks back there on both sides, you have a 12-volt power outlet, there is a cargo cover, and my favorite part, if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you're actually going to find not just a spare tire, but also in-floor storage. Typically you have to choose between one or the other, but the RX actually gives you both, so that's pretty darn cool. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 37.4 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. You got rear ventilation back there, of course. Dual rear USB charging ports, though, also coming standard. You gotta love that. Heated and ventilated rear seats are actually going to be optional, so that's pretty stinking cool. Also, rear window sunshades are available as well, though we don't have them with us here today. But then making our way up to the front seats, 8-way power adjustable front seats do come standard. 10-way power adjustable front seats for the luxury trim level and up. You're going to find some enhanced bolstering for the F Sport trims, a new luxe finish for the base and premium trim levels. Perforated leather coming with the premium plus trim level and up. Heated front seats for all trim levels and ventilated front seats for the premium trim level and up. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, Lexus always crushes it with their seat comfort. The F Sport seats specifically, they're absolutely amazing, especially with that enhanced bolstering. So definitely held me in place very nicely, and you just kind of sink into them. Like, F Sport seats are the best. I always say that, even in my other luxury vehicle videos that aren't Lexus, I always say Lexus has the best seats. So that's just the way it is. But anyways, then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is power adjustable for all trim levels across the board. It's leather wrapped for all trim levels across the board as well. You do get a wood leather combination for the premium plus trim level and up. That's what we got with us here today. Although it's kind of hard to tell because it's a black wood with a black leather, but trust me, it's there. Heated steering wheel then coming with the premium plus trim level and up. I definitely got that on. So big fan of the steering wheel. It's basically the perfect steering wheel, honestly, in my opinion. Then making our way to the startup, let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your Lexus logo on the one side. When you flip it over, lock, unlock, and that button to pop the rear tailgate there. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the infotainment screen, actually. So once started up, when it comes to the gauges, it is, of course, a full digital gauge cluster. It does come standard. They will change color a little bit depending upon the drive mode that you put it in. But overall, I would have loved to have seen a little more customization to the gauges, like some different loadouts, for example, like Audi does. They have the best gauges, or some of the best gauges. Mercedes-Benz does an amazing job too. But anyways, you do have your fuel information on your left. You got outside temperature, of course, which tells us it's below freezing, and that is very cold. It tells you how many miles you have left until you hit empty. Looks like we have a full tank with 348 miles remaining, so that's not too bad. And the digital gauges, they do look pretty darn good. I just wish there was a little more customization is all. But anyways, then making our way to overall interior quality. Power moonroof for the premium trim level and up. Panoramic glass roof is going to be optional, though, for all trim levels across the board. Homely controls do come standard. That's for up to 3 different garage doors found in the bottom portion of that rear view mirror. By the way, it is an auto dimming rear view mirror, but you can also get a rear camera mirror that's available, although we don't have it with us here today, but it is available if you wanted it. Tri-zone climate control for all trim levels across the board. Ash bamboo interior trim for the premium trim level and up. Black open pore wood trim also for the premium trim level and up. Suede headliner with suede accents for the luxury trim level and up. I love that. We actually have that with us here today, so super soft feeling there. Wireless phone charger for the premium trim level and up, and that is located, it looks like, just in front of the shifter there, but also just in front of the shifter. To the right of that wireless phone charger, you got a little bit of rubberized storage, a couple USB charging ports, a little more rubberized storage up top there. To the right of the shifter, you have your dual cup holders. That looks pretty darn nice, and everything surrounding that is finished in that wood trim. Electromechanical parking brake, and then within the center armrest here, it's actually a decent amount of storage. It's a good bit for the size of this vehicle, so I don't have any issues with that. But of course, with it being Lexus, everything is soft touch. There's contrast stitching. You got the wood trim as well, the suede headliner. So all of it is a very nice finish. It's very upscale. Looks like we have an overhead sunglass holder up there too. I didn't want to forget to mention that. So huge fan of the interior quality, of course. Then make our way to the infotainment screen here. It is a 9.8-inch infotainment screen for the base and premium trim levels, and then a 14-inch infotainment screen for the premium plus trim level and up. If you're familiar with Toyota or Lexus, you've seen this screen before. It's on all the new Tundras, all the new Toyotas and Lexuses basically. But Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay for all trim levels as well. Factory navigation system does come standard. You gotta love that. You can check out ambient lighting settings up there. There's your driving statistics. There's your heated and ventilated seat buttons, your heated steering wheel buttons, of course your drive modes like I was saying, along with your radio information. So when it comes to the radio information, 12 speakers does come standard. However, a 21 speaker Mark Levinson surround sound system is optional on the premium plus trim level and up, an option we unfortunately don't have with us here today. By the way, that one comes with 1800 watts, which is definitely serious. But anyways, let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Alright, so that was like bluegrass on AM radio, so I'm not sure. I didn't expect too much clarity there, but it's actually, I could tell it was decent, but for some reason the infotainment screen didn't want to turn on. I hit setup later, I hit continue, and yeah, it just doesn't want to move to the next screen here. So anywho, wanted to show you guys all the rest of it, but can't really do that right now for whatever reason. But anyways, it usually does work perfectly fine. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the RX in reverse, you will find a rear view camera. It is very high definition, letting you know who or what is behind you. Panoramic view monitor, by the way, that is optional. Another option we don't have with us here today, but as always, that is going to lead us into safety. And so IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, that is the very best rating you can get from IIHS, so that's a heck of a start right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag up front as well, passenger seat cushion airbag, and rear side impact airbags. That last one there, that's usually like a $600 option with Mercedes-Benz, so that's pretty darn cool. Also in the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0, because they all have to name them, of course, but dynamic radar cruise control with curb speed management, that's pretty nice. Pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, lane tracing assist, road sign assist, and a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, all of that coming standard. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the RX, excellent front end design. That's the first thing that always catches your eye. Definitely looks good in my opinion. Great safety as well. You can't beat an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. That's the best rating you can possibly get. Good sound systems as well. The Mark Levinson will take you to a completely different world, but this one was okay, especially for being AM radio. Excellent interior quality with the wood trim and the contrast stitching and the suede headliner. You really can't get better than that either. The only room for improvement I can think of is I'm still not a huge fan of turbocharged engines. I think the naturally aspirated V6 that this vehicle used to have definitely would have got the job done perfectly fine. I don't think they should have changed it, because the V6, in my opinion, is going to be more reliable in the long run. There's just more going on with turbocharged engines, that's all. And the other thing is the infotainment screen didn't work for me for whatever reason, so I don't know what's going on with that, but let me know what you guys think of the RX350 in the comments section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much.